This is a rant about modern masculinity over some old school RuneScape gameplay. I never learned how to stand up for myself because of the lack of a present male role model. Like, I grew up on YouTube, bro, looking up to guys like Elliot Hulls for advice on manhood. I truly believe that the lack of a present father figure is a huge problem in society. And I don't just mean the lack of dads, okay? And I don't just mean the fact that there's a lot of single moms, okay? I mean the lack of a present male figure in a child's life. So I'm not just talking about there being a cohesive nuclear family unit where there's a mom and a dad, okay? I'm talking about where there's a mom and there's a dad, and the dad is fully present. And what do I mean by fully present? Meaning he is able to be embodied in his own presence with his child without thinking about work, without being intoxicated by a few beers, smoking a joint, or just being stressed and not able to actually relax into the present moment. And I don't think it's really our fault as men, dude. I think we've just been passed down from generation to generation just this trauma. And what this trauma is the trauma of the survival state, okay? It's an archaic, barbaric state of being, way of consciousness. And that is the subtle, constant hum of fight or flight. And I talk about this in a lot of my videos, is how so many people, not just men, are not aware of this subtle fight or flight that is going on in the background that's causing people to not be able to be fully present in their body. And what happens with this subtle fight or flight is the mind doesn't feel comfortable relaxing into the body. And what happens is you get a disconnect from mind and body, and you get a lot of dudes that are disconnected from their emotions, because emotions lie in the body, right? If you're disconnected from your body, you're disconnected from your emotions. But here's the fucking kicker, bro. When you think about presence, okay, when I talk about being a present male role model, you often hear people talk about embodied presence, okay? Oh, he embodies, right? You ever heard someone say this? He embodies the qualities of the kind of guy that I aspire to be, right? He embodies, it's in his body, right? He's fully present with his body. And if this sounds a little woo-woo and out there and esoteric and bullshit, like, bear with me, bro. You can tell the simple difference. This is how I put it in fucking layman's terms, is you can tell the simple difference between a motherfucker who is there present with you in the moment versus a dude who is clearly so in his head he can't fucking see the forest for the trees, or whatever the saying is. And how I feel like this affects children growing up is children are subconsciously picking up on these behavioral patterns from men and learning to externalize their retreat from emotions. They're learning to mentally run away from feelings, to not feel safe in their own bodies. And when your consciousness doesn't feel, or your body doesn't feel safe being fully present with your consciousness, what happens is, like I've said, that constant, subtle fight or flight, bro. And with that constant, subtle fight or flight, dude, you're unable to just enjoy the moment, right? And when I think of characteristics or qualities that are divine masculine, I think of non-judgmental, full presence. I think of the ability to hold space again without judgment. I think of a fucking lighthouse shining a beam of light into the darkness of the world and illuminating a path for others. See, what happens when the man is disconnected from his body is he gets disconnected from his heart, and his heart carries the keys to purpose and to the way he can serve the collective. See, the ego lives in the mind, and if his consciousness resides merely in the mind, he will grow up being that self-centered, narcissistic motherfucker that only cares about himself, how much money he can put in his own pockets, what he can get, what he can't get, how he can manipulate this person and how he can't. And it just causes a lot of fucking problems for all of society, bro. See, man, we are inherently, naturally the leaders, but we're disconnected from the heart space. And the heart space is where true fucking power comes from, bro. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, look at every single fucking massive shift in history. The iPhone, right, invented by Steve Jobs, came from his imagination and his passion, which resides in the heart. You look at MLK, that changed racial issues forever, came from the heart, right? Things that change the world come from the heart and not the fucking ego. I didn't know we'd end up here on this message, but this is what I guess needed to be said today. So that's it. That's my ramble about modern masculinity. All right. Peace.
Hey, it's Tiz, and you're watching the Tiz Nash channel. Kind of like that older brother that you've always wanted but never had. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to watch some of my other videos, like, comment, subscribe, all that shit. All of it supports the mission, man. We're here to get real, straight to the source, straight to the heart. If you enjoyed this content, man, check out some of my other videos and leave a comment below. I reply to all of them. Thanks for watching, y'all.